Welcome back, class 10, your history class. Today we will start chapter 2, factors leading to the growth of nationalism and foundation of the Indian National Congress. So basically, what do we understand by the term nationalism? Nationalism denotes patriotism. Patriotism means devotion to the nation. One who is patriotic loves his country or her country and feels very loyal towards his or her country. So this is basically the meaning of nationalism, patriotism. So now, 19th century nationalism. Before starting the chapter, we will refer to some minor movements which were mostly of a local character. Why and how this nationalism started. Before going into the in-depth study of the chapter, we should understand and we should be aware and we should know about certain movements. Number one, movement against the Indigo Planters. The cultivators in Bihar and Bengal wanted to give up indigo growing, but the British planters forced them to do so. In April 1860, the cultivators refused to sow indigo, which probably became the first instance of organized non-cooperation in the history of Indian peasantry. So the cultivators of Bihar and Bengal, they refused to grow indigo because there was no much profit. Bengal and Bihar, jute, rice, these things, they were profitable cash crop. But indigo was profitable for the Britishers, so they refused in April 1860 to plant indigo. So this was the first example of non-cooperation in the field of Indian peasantry, Indian farmers. Second was the Kuka Movement. Kuka Movement in Punjab began as an attempt to purify Sikh religion. The Kukas attacked the caste distinctions and consumptions of meat and liquors, and later in 1863 it became assumed a political character. Then was the armed revolt in the Deccan led by Vasudev Balwant Phadke. The next important happening was a revolt engineered by Vasudev Balwant Phadke in Maharashtra and the neighboring regions. So from 1879 to 1883, he moved from place to place, instigating, that means, motivating people against the British Raj. So these are minor happenings which you should know. ICSE, they will not ask these things, but for better understanding of the chapter, you should know. Then comes the socio-religious movement. Number one, contribution of Raja Ramon Roy. Raja Ramon Roy heralded the coming of modern age in history. The Brahmo Samaj, often asked who was established in 1828, was not merely a religious movement, it also included in its program matters of social and political reforms. Now, what was Raja Ramon Roy's approach towards religion? What did he think about religion? Ramon Roy was a great humanist. He believed human beings are the main and the most ultimate manifestation of nature. He stressed the unity of all religions. Ramon Roy was inspired by the monotheism of Islam. Monotheism means unity of Godhead, one God, invisible one God. The ethical teachings of Christianity and the sublime doctrines, that means the underlying principles, the hidden principles of Upanishad. He believed that every religion had set up a moral code necessary for social peace and happiness. He believed that every religion should set up a moral code. Moral code means code is a rule. Moral means every person should have a morality. That means they should understand what is wrong and what is right. They should be able to distinct about regarding what is right and what is wrong. And it comes from teaching, it comes from background, it comes from the environment a person stays. So morality is something you had moral science till class 8. So what does it teach? It gives you teachings and understanding about morality. So he believed that every religion had set up a moral code necessary for social peace and happiness. So what was the social reforms which he did? Brahmo Samaj attacked the caste system, the practice of polygamy. Polygamy means many marriages. Child marriage, sati system. Important. Ramon started his anti-sati crusade in 1818. It was in 1829 that. So in 1829, the practice of sati became illegal in India. So he protested against the practice of denying means refusing women to the right of property. These social reforms, he believed, were necessary for political advancement and happiness of the people of India. Obviously it was very necessary. But he had to fight a lot against the orthodox Hindus and the orthodox social stigmas and orthodox social framework. He had to fight a lot. Liberty, rights and free press. Ramon Roy recognized the blessings of British rule in India. He realized that British rule in India was like a blessing. Why? He could not see importance of English education in modern world. He could also see, he could also see the importance of modern education, English education in the modern world. In spite of his admiration of British, Ramon Roy was a staunch means strict nationalist. He regarded liberty as priceless possession of every individual. And he criticized all the measures which deprived Indians from civil rights. So he started a Bengali weekly called Sangbad Kaumadi, important for your exam. Later he started a Persian paper called Mirat ul Akbar, important for your exam. Both the publications had a distinct national and progressive character. Along with few eminent persons, Ramon Roy presented a petition to the Supreme Court for legal action to be taken against press regulations. And what was his economic ideas? Ramon Roy was sympathetic to the cause of poor peasants, poor farmers. He wanted the military budget to be reduced so that more funds were available for activities concerned with the health and education of the people. He sailed for England in 1830. It gave him an opportunity to appear before the Select Committee of the British Parliament. He apprised the committee, he made aware to the committee of the poor economic conditions of the people of India. So, contributions of Raja Rammohn Roy, you have to remember. Mainly you have to remember that he made sati illegal, and Sangbad Kaumadi, Mirat ul Akbar. These things, and Brahmo Samaj obviously is very, very important because they will ask you in your exams. Now comes another very eminent socio-religious reformer. His name was Jyotiba Phule. Jyotiba Phule was born in 1827 in Satara district of Maharashtra. His family earned their living by growing flowers and vegetables. They were malis, basically gardeners. So hence Phule means florists, gardeners. So Jyotiba Phule was a highly admired social reformer of the 19th century. What he did, number one, was the caste structure was to him a slavery. He wrote a book known as Gulamgiri, focused on the Brahmin domination, that means Brahmin's torture, and the poverty and hardship and distress which the lower castes were facing. Jyotiba Phule strongly felt that all the problems of the Dalit, whom he called Shudras and Atishudras, could be solved if proper education was provided to them. Then comes his second contribution is gender justice. Jyotiba Phule said that women were superior to men because they bore children and nursed them. Men kept their women uneducated so that they would never question their domination. Jyotiba Phule understood that men kept their women uneducated, because if women become educated, they will be able to question their status in the society, and they would question their male domination. So Phule established first girls' school in India, 1848. He set up an orphanage in 1854 to provide shelter for the poor widows and children. Now, he also founded a number of schools for girls and the lower caste. Third is very important. Jyotiba Phule founded Satya Shodhak Samiti, Society of the Seekers of Truth. Very important from the exam point of view. The society endeavored means tried to mitigate means get rid of, distress and sufferings of Dalit women. His wife Savitri Bai was the head of the women's wing of the society. Phule praised the British rule because it gave Indians the tools with which to fight social injustice. It is, however, heartening to find Jyotiba Phule's mentioning in his book Gulamgari that it was the farmers on whose labors the government and his armies and salaries of the pensions of the whites depended. Now, two other contributors of the socio-religious reformers are Arya Samaj, founded by Dayanand Saraswati, Swami Dayanand. He opposed the caste system, encouraged female education. Arya Samaj also played a progressive role in the earlier stage of nationalism. And then comes Ramakrishna Mission, founded by Swami Vivekananda. It believed in the principle of service of God is the service of men. It established hospitals and orphanages to get rid of or to reduce the sufferings of those who are in distress. So, in the next class, we will start with the influence of Western education. We will start with the influence of Western education, and slowly we will progress accordingly. So that is all for today. Thank you very much.